Self-regulation is a fundamental element of metacognition, and it's the process of planning what you're learning and how you're learning it, and then evaluating your progress so you can move towards achieving your learning goals. It's ultimately about being able to effectively learn on your own. This is something that separates novices from experts. Experts self-regulate, meaning that they plan to make progress, and at every step they monitor how well things are going, and then they adapt what they're doing accordingly. They recognise that they've failed, but then they focus on how they can fix what went wrong. Novices, on the other hand, rely on feedback from other people. They compare their performance to others. They fail to set goals, and they frequently attribute their failures to fixed deficiencies, for example, that they're just not smart enough. Therefore, to become an expert, you've got to learn to self-regulate, and one of the best ways to develop this is to use assessment. Essentially, you should be asking yourself these 3 questions. Where am I going, i.e. what goal am I trying to achieve? How am I going, i.e. how far am I at the minute from achieving that goal? And where to next, i.e. what do I need to do now to move further towards the goal? In order to encourage you to ask yourself these questions, your teachers will want you to put more work into reflecting on assessments than they do. For this reason, the feedback you get from your teacher should contain these 3 elements. You should be asked to assess your own work, and this might mean literally marking it yourself first. You should be encouraged to identify errors and make comments yourself. And you should be encouraged to set a SMART goal. That's one that is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time-bound. In return, to help you with these tasks, your teachers will provide you with success criteria, for example mark schemes, model answers or checklists. They will check that your goals are SMART, and they'll give you opportunities to work towards those goals, such as dedicated improvement and reflection time in lessons. On the other hand, they will not write lengthy comments, grade or put an overall mark on every piece of work, and they won't correct errors for you. There's lots of evidence to suggest that teachers should do that. One study carried out in Spain in 2008 classified students into 3 categories: low, medium and high self-regulators. The high self-regulators actually passed more exams in more subjects at the end of a year than the other 2 groups. Furthermore, a wealth of evidence from research within schools suggests that there are certain practices that are less effective. For example, there's weak evidence for the effectiveness of putting grades on work. Pupils who only got grades and no other feedback made less progress. A study of undergrads showed that when teachers provided all the correct answers to mistakes, this led to the same amount of progress as those whose work was not marked at all. Why should you do more with feedback? Cognitive psychology tells us that deep processing leads to long-term learning, whereas superficial processing does not. For example, name the colour printed in each of these words. Now come up with a definition for these words. Experiments that have asked people to do this showed that they later recalled more from the second list than the first. This is because our long-term memory is semantic or meaning-based. That means we have to try and make sense out of information in order to learn. So this means that putting more effort into making sense out of information, including your teacher's commentary, is more likely to lead to long-term learning. Another theory, known as cognitive load, suggests that we can only deal with a small amount of information at a time. Therefore, the more feedback we're given in one go, the less likely we're to process that and be able to act on it. Less is more.